It's time for a little Jim Green sizing video. These troopers, it's not looking like they're going to be a pretty hot ticket. So I would get your sizing well in advance so that when it actually launches, all you do with that early access link that we send to the limited edition email list, click that link, put your size in, get that thing ordered, because all the metrics, all of the posts, everything is looking like these are going to be pretty popular. So the sooner you can get all your information, the sooner you're going to be able to put your order in, so the sooner you'll be able to get your boots. And that's kind of the goal of all this sizing video stuff, all the pre-launch information. So let's get to the sizing. So just generally, the real quick version of this is, if you already have a pair of Jim Greens and you like that size, you like how it fits, just order that same size in a pair of the African Troopers. Because the last is a zero drop last, but it's basically the same all around, enough that the sizing should be the same. Next step, if you do have your Brannock size, you don't have a pair of Jim Greens, if you want a closer fit, go true to your Brannock size. If you want a little extra room, go half a size up from your Brannock size. So for example, I'm a 10 on the Brannock, I would order a 10 US in Jim Green to have that more form fit. If I want a little bit extra wiggle room and width on the side and just enough room that I can have plenty of room to spread my toes out, I would go up to a 10.5 US because my Brannock size is a 10. So I just want to show you the toe spacing difference. And then we're going to roll the previous video's Brannock sizing so you can figure it out, so I don't have to record it over and over and over again. So this pair of African Rangers is a size 10. I'm a 10 on the Brannock. And so where's my toe lie when I'm just wearing these around with my weight mostly on it? My toe ends, just pretend my thumbnail is my toe. That's about where my toe ends. You know, I've got right across there is where I've got maybe, I don't know, half an inch of room at the top. My toe's like right there. Okay, so let's see how that compares to the African Troopers. So now 10 in the African Troopers. Same story right there. So I got about half an inch of room. So if you got a pair of African Rangers and you want a pair of African Troopers, if you like how your Rangers fit, buy the same size in your Troopers. Now for the 10.5. Because, you know, I've got fairly narrow feet and I've got plenty of room in there. But if you want more wiggle room, if you slide your foot back by getting a bigger size, then it's going to open up more width, right? So now let's see how the 10.5 fits. My toe goes to right there. So that's about the traditional width or length that you would want in a work boot, a hiking boot, because if you're hiking downhill, no matter how tight your boots are, your feet are going to slide just a little bit towards the end of the toe. And I can hike in a 10 just fine, but if I was going to be hiking in these a ton, I would want that extra room. I would want just a little bit extra width and a little bit of extra toe length so my toes aren't hitting the tip of the boot. So if you're just walking around casually and you're not going to do a lot of hiking and you don't need a lot of width, just go true to your Brannock. So if you're a 10 on the Brannock like me, you're going to get a US 10 in the African Troopers. If you like tons of wiggle room, or you're worried about the width, or you just want to make sure you've got plenty of width, go half a size up for your Brannock. So if I'm a 10 on the Brannock, I'd get a 10.5 US in the Jim Green African Troopers. And because the difference is I think it's like an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch, or I think it's an 1/8. I think it's an 1/8 of an inch. Very slight. So they're not going to be so much bigger that you're like, oh, these look terrible. It's a very small difference. And so if I was walking around all day doing nothing, no hiking, I'd go with the 10. I'm doing a ton of hiking, or if I want to put a nice thick cushy insole in, I'd go with the 10.5 by going up half a size for my Brannock. Now we're going to roll the footage of how to actually figure out your Brannock sizes in case you don't know. There's going to be 2 ways you can figure out your size, both based off the Brannock sizing. One is with the Brannock device. The other is with a piece of paper, a regular pen, not a really thick pen, a regular pen, and a 90-degree wall. So first thing you're going to do, if you have access to a Brannock device, these are available at basically any department store, any shoe store, anywhere that sells shoes probably has one of these. There's a left heel cup, there's a right heel cup, so put your correct foot in the right heel cup. So I put my left foot down, put my heel against the back of the cup. I distribute my weight equally on both feet with both shoes off, and you should be wearing the socks that you're gonna be wearing in the boots. And you're gonna look down straight on top of your toe, and you can see on mine, I'm a 10 on the Brannock. Now to find your Brannock size if you don't have a Brannock device, similar idea, but you need a piece of paper, pen that's not a fat pen, and we're gonna simulate a flat wall with this. So you nest that piece of paper right up against the back of the wall. Same concept, you're gonna put your foot against the wall, the paper against the wall, nesting your heel against the wall. You're gonna take this pen, and what you're gonna do is, while it's straight up and down, not in, not out, not forward, not backwards, just straight up and down, not tons of pressure in, no pressure, but just enough that you're actually tracing it, and you just follow your foot around with your socks on, equal distribution of weight on your feet. You got a nice little footprint there. So now, what you do is you take your little drawing here, and you take from the top of your longest toe to the back of the paper, you're gonna take that measurement. That's your length. Okay, then you take that length and you put it in this chart here, and it will convert it to your Brannock size. That should be everything you need to know for sizing. You've got the 2 different ways to do it, and just to recap one more time, if you like to have as little room as possible around your foot and you're not worried about width, go true to your Brannock size. So if you're a 10 on the Brannock, get a 10 US in those Troopers. If you want a little bit of extra wiggle room and you don't want to worry about it, just go half a size up from your Brannock. So if you're a 10 on the Brannock, you get a 10.5 US in Jim Greens. And that should do it. Pretty simple. And if you have a pair of Jim Greens you like, just get that same size. Let me know what else you guys want to see when it comes to the lead up to the launch of these collaborations. And thank you for supporting them. See you.